My name is Sarah, and I serve as the year-round registrar here at Ingham Okoboji Bible Camps, and I am bringing you your daily dose for today. The verse I have for you today is found in Matthew chapter 25, verse 21. The Lord said to him, "Well done, good and faithful servant. You are faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord." The Gospels have a lot of parables, and parables is simply a fancy word for stories that Jesus told, and these stories were told in such a way that they would reveal a truth about God and how God wanted his people to live, or how God wanted to be in relationship with his people, and they were told in a way that was very relevant and easy to understand for the average listener to go, "Oh yeah, I get it now. That's really simple and easy and right in my language." So the listeners of the first century instantly knew so many depths and layers to what a parable was teaching them. The parables in the Gospels, even today, still have a ton to teach us. However, sometimes we do have to go back a little bit and learn a little bit about what the first century was like to really understand the depth of what a parable is trying to teach. But the parable found in Matthew 25 of the parable of the talents, or the parable of the bags of gold, depending on how your Bible labels that particular section, is one of those parables that largely is self-explanatory even today. To help you remember a little bit about this parable, very simply, a master is about to depart on a long journey, and in the first century that journey could have easily been a year, 2 years, or more. And he calls to him 3 of his most trusted servants, and to each servant he hands a bag of gold, or talents. And he says to them to take care of this, and I want this back when I return. And then you fast forward to the master's return, and the servants are asked to bring their gold or their talents back to the master. The first 2 servants have gone and they've invested the gold and they've grown the gold, and so they have not only the original gold to return to their master, but additional gold to return to him as well. However, the 3rd servant just went and buried the gold in the ground and hid it away and didn't do anything with it. And the master was not pleased that all he had to show for investing in this servant was just exactly what he had left. The lesson in the parable for us is that God has given each one of us some sort of gold, some sort of resource or talent, and God is calling us to invest that in what he has given us to do in this world. Not to hide it away, not to selfishly hoard it, but to invest it in the work of God in this world, and in sharing Jesus with others, and doing what our camp mission says, to know Jesus Christ and to make Christ known to the world. It's easy to think, oh, I don't have money to share. But it's not just about money. Maybe you do have money that you can invest in the kingdom work of God, and that's awesome and that's amazing. But also maybe you have some special skill or talent, like music or singing or being artistic and crafty, or maybe being able to teach math to middle schoolers. I'm betting there's a lot of parents right now that wish they had that skill and talent. Or maybe what God has given you is the ability to be trained in something. Maybe you've been able to be trained to be a doctor or a nurse or an accountant. And how are you using that training to share the love of Christ with others? Whatever version of gold that God has given you, or talents that God has given you, this parable challenges us and asks us to invest those and to share those and to not hoard them or hide them. One of the most comforting thoughts that I have come across in recent months has been simply this: you are not powerful enough to mess up God's plan of redemption for the world. Stop giving yourself that much credit. I'm an oldest child, And so I like to think that I can save the world if I just try hard enough. But the reality is I'm not that powerful. And a lot of times my perfectionist tendencies cause me to sit and to be scared to share the gifts and the talents and the gold that God has given me. But what that thought reminds me, and what this parable reminds me of, is God gave me those to share them, not to hide them, not to hoard them, but to share them. And so I want to challenge, and I hope I inspire you today to take a risk, to step out and to invest the gold or the talents that God has given you. Thanks, and have a great day.